And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella, based on the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Olive, Nina, and Esme. Olive, Nina, and Esme made Cinderella do all the chores. "Sweep the floors, wash the dishes," said Olive, Nina, and Esme. One day, the king of Onlyville's messenger said, hear ye, the king of Onlyville is going to throw a ball. And whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Singling. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Olive said, he's going to marry me. Nina said, no way, Olive. He's going to marry me. Esme said, both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is so sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Singling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks Cinderella what is wrong. Why are you crying, Cinderella? She asks. Cinderella responds, I wanted her to go to the ball and marry Prince Singling, but I'm not welcome. The fairy godmother waved her wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! And then, Cinderella's chores are all done. But the fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, go fetch me a good old pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has one pumpkin. The fairy godmother waved her magic wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! Again, and to turn Cinderella's do-rag and clothes into a gown. I've never seen such a wonderful gown. I get a load of my glass slippers, and then the pumpkin into a carriage drawn by 2 strong horses. The fairy godmother said, have fun, Cinderella, but I will warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Singling was wondering who he should marry. Olive, Nina, and Esme said all together, he's walking towards me. But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Singling dance happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Singling was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled around Onlyville to find her and brought the glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door of the house where her Cinderella and her stepsisters lived. He said, ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try this glass slipper? Olive is first, but her foot is too big. Nina is next, but her foot is too small. Esme is last, but her foot didn't fit either. Suddenly, Prince Singling noticed Cinderella singing. Cinderella said. Prince Singling, is that you? Prince Singling said, of course it's me. Cinderella gets so excited because she's having to have her Prince Singling back. And they lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story before bed, Hinder's Doors. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to my video. Take care. Bye and good night, everybody. And now, Andrew's Doers, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents for the 3000th episode of Andrew Does Everything Special, 3000 Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Once upon a time, there was a young girl named 3000 Cinderella. 3000 Cinderella had 13 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Tasha, Hannah, Rena, Ellie, Emmy, Tilly, Hannah, Ophelia, Uniqua, Sasha, Alana, Natalia, and Dahlia. All 13 of them made 3000 Cinderella do all the chores. 30,000 a wench. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Tasha, Hannah, Rena, Ellie, Emmy, Tilly, Hannah, Ophelia, Uniqua, Sasha, Alana, Natalia, and Dahlia all together. And then one day, the king of Trichiliagonal's messenger arrives and says, hear ye, the king of Trichiliagonal is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Trichiliagonal. But 3000 Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Tasha, the oldest stepsister. Hannah said, no way, Tasha, you're wrong. He's going to marry me. Rena said, both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. The rest said, all three of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, 3000 Cinderella is so sad about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Trichiliagonal while doing chores. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and Anne asks 3000 Cinderella what's wrong by saying, why are you crying, 3000 Cinderella? In which 3000 Cinderella responds, I have lots of chores to be done, but I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Trichiliagonal. 3000 Cinderella's fairy godmother says, I can help with a bit of magic, and waves her magic wand. Because of that, 3000 Cinderella's chores are all done, but her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 3000 Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, 3000 Cinderella has 3000 pumpkins and 6000 mice. 3000 Cinderella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 3000 pumpkins into a handsome coach, and the 6000 mice into horses, and 3000 Cinderella's red clothes into a gown and crown. 3000 Cinderella says, I've never seen such a Trichiliagonal-tastic gown. Get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough? And climbs into the coach. 3000 Cinderella's fairy godmother said, well, you can't, but have fun, 3000 Cinderella. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before. And gave her a clock to tell her what time it is. 3000 Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of Trichiliagonal said, good evening, everyone. My son, Prince Trichiliagonal, was wondering who will marry. Isn't that right, son? Prince Trimalabling responds, "Yes, father." Suddenly, Free Cinderella arrived at the ball just in time. Tasha, Hannah, Arena, Ellie, Emmy, Tilly, Hannah, Ophelia, Uniqua, Sasha, Alana, Natalia, and Dahlia say, "He's walking towards me!" all together, but he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Free Cinderella. Prince Trimalabling then asks, "May I have this dance?" And Free Cinderella responds, "I would be delighted." And Prince Trimalabling and Free Cinderella danced happily together. But later, Free Cinderella checks her clock. It's almost midnight! So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost both of her glass slippers. Prince Trimalabling was so worried that he might never see Free Cinderella again. The king of Trimalablingham comforts him by saying, There now, son. I think we'll be able to find Free Cinderella." And so, Prince Trimalabling and his father began their journey all around Trimalablingham to find Free Cinderella and brought the 2 glass slippers with them. By the time they arrived, Prince Trimalabling knocked on the door of the house where Free Cinderella and her 13 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters there lived. But instead of Free Cinderella, they find Tasha, Hannah, Rena, Ellie, Emmy, Tilla, Hannah, Ophelia, Uniqua, Sasha, Alana, Natalie, and Dahlia. Prince Trimalabling and the king of Trimalablingham then say, "Ladies, we have a favor to ask. Can you try on these glass slippers?" Tasha is first, but her feet are too big. Hannah is next, but her feet are too small. "Nonsense! It fits!" she said. The rest did the same, but none of the feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince Trimalabling and the king of Trimalablingham noticed Free Cinderella singing, "The glass slippers fit!" And so, Free Cinderella, Prince Trimalabling, and the king of Trimalablingham lived happily ever after. The end. Andrew's Doers, I hope this was a fun story for the 3,000th episode of our show, of our channel special. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise at andrewdoeseverything.com. And then I have one more thing to say. Take care, Andrew's Doers. Bye.